My background has mostly been in hotels and affiliated, obviously, tours, but looking at destinations, especially Ghana, Nigeria, Mauritius, as a management type opportunity to have more people visit these places. Now, from my perspective, what I have noticed is generally those that have a higher those that have higher tourism receipts normally have a good balance of domestic tourism, inbound tourism, and outbound tourism. And so what that simply means is that, you know, people are traveling out as much as people are traveling in, and there's some sort of a balance. Whereas for us, especially in West Africa, we have always been reliant on what's coming in, mostly for meetings, conferences, groups, and this is how we fill up our properties. And so obviously going back to this pandemic is when we realized how big the crash is, because there is just no way we could up our game on domestic tourism. And why is that really? It's because we really don't believe in our own product. It is the truth. We do not believe in our own product, and that in itself is a problem. How do you sell what you don't believe in? Who is going to buy what you're selling? Because you don't believe in it yourself. And, you know, this is my personal view on this, and having worked with experience with this, I feel like that is a really strong point that we need to address, you know, because as you mentioned on one of your slides, you know, Africa as a brand in itself is something that needs to be looked at. I just went online and tried to find who is doing something online about Africa as a brand. And there's nothing really serious, you know, there is no active campaign on selling Africa as a brand. And also you did mention about the airlines, where they're traveling to, and why must they not make it cheaper for us to travel? But my question is, why must we not want to actually travel in our own region? That is a sincere question. You know, why do we want to travel out somewhere? Why do we not want to travel within our own region? Why do we not want to market our places to make them very exciting for other people to want to come to, and all of that? So that's the emotional side of things, I would say. But coming back to reality, there are issues, obviously, that we need to look at and address. Basically, I would say maybe about the 5 or 6 A's of tourism, you know, which is accessibility, attractions. We do have the attractions, but have we cleaned them up? Do we have access to these places? Do we make it easier for people to visit? I mean, there are different charges for locals. There are different charges for people who come from X region. You know, we really need to clean up and then have available packages and all of that. So we have a lot of homework to do, to be honest. How do we even tackle the homework when we have no data? We are not taking data, and data is everything, basically. So how do we tackle all these things? I mean, by ourselves, for ourselves, and then improve ourselves, you know? So for me, and it's not all doom, it's just the will. I don't feel the will for us to actually progress as much as we need to, and nobody's going to do this for us. I think that we need to realize also that Brand Africa is not just reliant on governments. That's the other thing. You know, I'm not sure if anyone was following. There was a campaign, a hashtag, fix the country in Ghana, basically. And there was another hashtag that came back and said, fix your attitude, you know, and it's been going back and forth, you know, fix the country, fix your attitude. And to be honest, both have a point. I mean, because you can't fix the country without fixing the attitude, basically. So we don't only need to look at governments, but we also need to look at how we can improve, things by speaking the one African language. I think in terms of prospective job opportunities, this is another thing I'm extremely passionate about. When I started working in hotels over 20 years ago, I've looked at all the properties that I've worked in. As a rule, I never worked for a franchise, or I always worked for a local brand because I wanted to grow things. I wanted more people to grow. I wanted the space to pick what I could from the franchises and then add on more to it and improve things. Now, I've looked at all the people that I used to work with who moved out of, hospitality into other industries. There is a big exodus. There was a big exodus, and it's only gotten worse. But I look at what we have in terms of manufacturing and all of that, that is not big at all. This is actually where we could have we could score high points and then actually export our labor and manpower and skills. And so for me, I think that it would be good to just sit back and see how we redistribute, how we can improve things, in our various countries. But my key points here is we need to look at key things like service, customer experience in tourism in our various places, various local countries as brands, and then putting together as as Africa together, and how we can do best with our manpower, export it, and then try and see how that also works within our region.